What?
And neither one of you know this, and this is contemporaneous. But in 1983, I was told I was going to have 4 children. Now,
And you have...
I have 3.
Right.
But ever since then, that was in Jamaica by a fortune teller. Ever since then, almost every single fortune teller I've gone to where that question came up said there should be 4 children. So recently, maybe a year ago, I said to this seer, now wait a second. I've been told that all my life, but obviously, you know, I'm 59. What's the chance of that happening? I'm really not in a relationship. And the seer says, well, this is the way you got to look at this. Was there ever a woman that maybe you got pregnant and she didn't tell you and maybe had an abortion? I said, I don't really think so.
No.
I said, I really don't believe that. She goes, then another child's coming. I think that's fascinating. But
So
how do I feel about
this isn't a big
it?
surprise then.
No, it's sort of like an amazing psychic experience.
Yeah, but you know, it's really about surrendering and knowing that everything is in divine order, and there is this amazing tapestry
Yes.
that is created in each one of our lives, and the chess pieces are moved, and for us to sit and figure out and assume that we know how things will end up is really never the case.
That's right.
Exactly.
So don't even worry about it. Go with the flow. What happens, happens, and it will be the right thing.
I tell you, the big question I get is, why is this happening to me again? And you just made a comment about going back into the past. We repeat the same patterns.
Right.
And everybody says, the women are like, I keep attracting the same type of men. But then we go and we look at the men individually, they're all totally opposite.
Yes.
It's the person repeating the same patterns over and over and over, not the men.
You know,
Yes.
this is an interesting thought, not to offend anyone, but by what you tell me, it would have to be a woman of childbearing age. It sounds more interesting to me than someone of retirement age. So there's, you know, all sorts of ramifications of whatever age you seem to dabble with.
Well, childbearing age is up to 50 now,
Right,
isn't
yes,
it?
right, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
But we have to go by the mean.
I mean, fair's fair. If you're going to be a dad at 60, hey, if you're going to be moms at 50.
It's a lot easier to be a dad
you
at
know,
60 than a mom
but
at 50.
this shows up all over our lives.
Yeah.
There's things are not what they seem to be.
Absolutely.
It's like, I had my uncle, he's passed, but he went into cardiac arrest in the hospital. And my aunt was relaying the story, and he's on the floor. Oh, well, you're a doctor. And they're beating on his chest, and everyone is screaming because they think he must be in so much agony over what they're doing and the fear that he must be feeling because he appeared to be conscious. The end result was the next day, he was revived and saved at that point, and the universe is much kinder than we think it is, because for him, he had no recollection of the experience, and his last memory was kissing my aunt and their children, because he was actually on his way, he was checking out of the hospital. So what as the onlooker, what we think is the reality, for the person that's going through it can be a completely different reality.
Exactly.
And a completely different experience.
Yeah.
It's true. It's
Wow.
very interesting.
Yeah.
I think in the hospitals, there are so many things that appear to be one way and are not really that way. I know I've been in hospitals before, they call
Yes.
psychics that and everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll be in the room before the family gets in. And just a couple of weeks ago, the woman and I were just chit-chatting fine. Then her daughter opens the door. Oh, I hurt. Oh, this or that. And I was sitting back thinking, that daughter thinks mom's just dying here, when mom was fine the second before the daughter walked in. And mom didn't even realize she was doing that.
Yeah.
It's just, she was longing for the attention from her daughter.
Yes, yeah.
So it's always funny when you
Well-
take a step back and look at it.
Do you want to say something?
Well, what I find very fascinating, working in the emergency room, I find the largest percentage of problems, complaints, or complications medically that we see are related to people wanting to be loved, wanting attention, wanting to be cared for, wanting to be touched, and they go to such extremes in their life, all unconsciously. And they create their own ailments by how they position themselves. We say sometimes they do silly things. You know, an 80-year-old person gets on a stepladder and falls off and breaks her hip. But why was she going on an 8-foot stepladder? Basically, subconsciously, she's taking risk that is really way out of the norm. And things like this aren't rare. Or the person who gains 300 pounds and has all these cardiovascular complications, and why did they gain the 300 pounds? What motivated them? They had to be motivated. And, you know, they were motivated by attention.
It's very interesting because a lot of overweight people appear to be very happy, very jolly to the outside world. That's how we perceive them. Oh, that, you know, like the Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
Fat, happy,
Yes.
jolly,
Yes.
you know, and I look at them and go, God, you know, there may be something in this because they're eating what they want to eat, they're nourished, they're happy, but really if you speak to them, there's so much pain underneath that we who are visiting with them or interacting with them don't get to see. And that's true. It's like a girlfriend of mine was saying, and I'll even say it about my own marriage. She was saying about hers, and I could say it about mine. We looked like Mr. and Mrs. Happy Couple, you know, 2010 to the outside world. Or you walk down the street and you see an attractive couple, and you say, oh my God, they must have it all. They must have like a fabulous life, you know, great sex, live in a beautiful home, beautiful children. And the reality of what we perceive can be so completely different. Because for me, my ex-husband and I, we left as friends. But we would laugh about it because to view us was one thing, but to come home with us would have been a whole different experience, what was really present, you know?
I hear that over and over with my clients because they call with the same stories, whether it's, you know, I'm heavy and I'm looking, you know, happy, but the truth comes out when they're talking with their guides because they feel like they can be honest, they can be truthful, where the rest of the world has no idea what they're really all about. No idea.
Well, this has been really a great time having you here.
Lori,
and it was amazing that you just stumbled in.
Well, have a great show.
Yeah, have a great show.
I will.
And please join us. We have to see each other more considering we live in the same borough.
Exactly.
And keep up the good work.
Well, no, it was a pleasure.
Thank you, Lori Gregg.
And thank you for the reading.
Okay.
Yeah, really.
Let me know about that baby. Keep me posted.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Lori, I'm going to call you because I want to have a little reading.
Okay.
You're good.
Give me a call.
Thanks, babe. Thanks for coming.
I love you. Bye.
Love you too.
Thank you, sweetie. Wow, bye, sweetie.
What an
Talk
experience
about
that was.
Things are not what they seem to be. That was not what we had planned.
No,
oh
it wasn't.
My God.
It was interesting, though.
Yes.
It was very interesting.
She's awesome.
She is. She always comes up with incredible insight into life. You know, she's read me a number of times over the last 2 years. And the amazing thing is, she's always been on the mark. The woman is absolutely incredible. And
you know what? People who are new to learning about psychics, I mean, there are a lot of people that think that they need to look a certain way, like maybe there's a witchy hat that they're wearing, or that they walk around loaded with crystals. And the reality is that she's a beautiful woman.
Beautiful, sexy woman who's contemporaneous and hip.
Who could be a model, an actress, you know, a business executive.
She's a mother. She's everything.